3 hotels every day just on my bike riding, and I at different times of the day, I have not seen a lot to give me concern. I don't know. You're right there by the Lucerne.
Ride by at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm not coming late enough.
Yeah. Okay, now I have to mute. I'm sorry, I'm setting up the, oh, it is. Okay, good. Okay, so we're now streaming. Sorry, this is taking a little, I had to upload those things from the 541 that I didn't know about.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
Word to the cloud. Okay, so 6:30, hey, we're actually ready to go. How about that?
Okay. Now we'll be missing Josh and Susan tonight.
Okay.
Jay. Okay, Peter.
Jay is there. Thomas Barry, you're 541. No, you're, which one are you?
Hi, we're 55 West 86th Street.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Very
good.
I'm gonna hit broadcast, which will let attendees in. I'm not sure if there are any, but we'll let them in. And then you guys, let's see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually a quorum, but let's see if there's anybody else in attendees.
Yeah. Madge, can you move your screen so we can see your face a little bit better? Tilt it toward you.
Yeah, that's much
There
better.
you go.
Beautiful.
Oh, you can see your scenery too, which is very nice.
And Jay, you're home?
Yep.
Tilt mine a little bit too.
I can't hear you, Madge. You got to unmute. Madge thinks, yeah, you have to unmute, honey. Oh, push your screen. Hey, Doug.
Hello. Hi.
You're
there.
hard to hear, Doug.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Volume up.
How's that?
Yeah,
Much better.
That's great. Who's gonna take minutes? Jay, Madge.
I can't do it tonight. I'm gonna have to get in the car and go somewhere partway through. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ken.
Yeah, you need to tilt your screen a little toward, because we can't see your whole face. There you go, beautiful.
Perfect.
With a background, what do you have, a lake? You have a stream and a tree?
A bay, a bay, a bay.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Where is that, Madge?
Fisher's Island.
Oh,
Where's that?
Island.
Yeah,
My
it's a
relatives
bay that
have-
goes into the sound. Excuse me?
Oh, okay.
My relatives have a story about Fisher's Island because when my relatives were kicked out of Hartford Colony, they set off for what eventually became Long Island or New York Colony. But they stopped on Fisher's Island, which is why something so close to Connecticut is actually owned by as a part of the state of New York.
They've talked about trading it for years, but hasn't happened.
What do we get instead?
Well,
Some
Bridgeport.
people want to trade Staten Island to New Jersey for I don't know what. But
You know the story of Staten Island, supposedly, right? The boat race.
The Arthur Kill, right?
Yeah. I think New York and New Jersey had a competition, and New York lost, so we got it.
There was actually a Supreme Court case a few years ago about who owns, I forget, is it Liberty Island or Ellis Island?
That's right.
It was one of them, and
I
because
think it
this
was
is,
Liberty.
I think it was Liberty too. And the question was, well, the original island was owned by one, but so who owned the landfill versus who owned the original island? And anyway, looks like you got a quorum, guys.
Yeah,
So
let's get, hello, Doug, how are you? Nice to see you. Other Doug.
Apologies for being a few minutes late.
It's okay, we're gonna start the meeting. We only have one applicant here, Mark?
No, there are a couple of in attendees who I assume are applicants.
Okay,
Including somebody by phone. Let me just take a moment to unmute the 201-826 number. And can you tell us who you are and what application you're here for?
Nita Sanyel. I'm going to be presenting for 305 West End Avenue.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right. So we are the Preservation Committee. Thank you, welcome. We're here for our August meeting. We look forward to hearing your applications. Our mission is to advise the Landmarks Preservation Commission on the appropriateness of the changes you want to make. And I'd like to have all the committee members introduce themselves. My name is Michelle Parker. I'm co-chair with Kay
Hey,
Carpenter.
Carpin. Yeah, thank you. Good to
And
see you all.
Madge Rosenberg.
Madge Rosenberg.
Jay Adolph.
Yes,
Doug, you're a committee member, right?
Yeah.
Doug McGowan. Doug Kleinman is one of our VEPs, and our chair, Mark Diller.
And you got Peter Sampton
Oh, I
too.
forgot Peter Sampton because I didn't see his face, his lovely face. And Peter Sampton is a committee member.
And did we, Jay, are you taking notes or is somebody, did we decide that?
I wasn't planning. Wasn't planning to. I think I did it last time.
Oh, well then, Doug, could you do that for us?
Okay,
Okay,
thank you
awesome.
very
Thank you.
Oh, let me just.
I'll do
I got
it the next time.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so Doug McGowan, thank you very much for taking minutes. And the first application, I believe, is 305 West End Avenue.
Yep.
Oh,
Maybe,
you know what? I'm just going to promote everybody to panelists. There aren't that many folks. And I'm guessing that one or more of the people I'm promoting right now are the presenters for each of these applications. So,
okay, great, thanks.
okay, so now you've got a whole bunch of folks. Will the folks for 305 please identify themselves?
305 West End. Anybody here?
I'm gonna go take a look at the materials for 305. That would be Tuller, McNeilis, and Feld are the architects.
She's saying in the chat that she's on the telephone.
Yeah,
Ah,
Oh,
okay. Is that Danielle? I can't promote somebody on the phone to panelists, so you'll just have to speak.
loudly.
So Danielle, is that you?
It's
I
Samita.
can't.
Samita,
Yes,
Tyler McNellis.
yes, correct. I'm presenting on behalf of them.
Can't hear.
I
Yeah, we
hear a thing.
can't hear you. Can you hear us? Use the chat if you can. Sumita, you're appearing both as a phone number and as a panelist.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure why it's showing.
Maybe that's why we have
But
the,
I
Well, that
can share
explains
my
the
screen
echo.
so I can present.
right.
Can you? All right, now I've just muted you on phone. Can you speak through the other one, the
Computer?
panelist? Sumita, can you hear me? And if so,
Oh.
I'm not, okay. You can hear me, okay. So you, all right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute that and unmute the phone. Try that now.
Okay, does it work better?
Yes, except I need you to mute your computer. If you're gonna use the phone and the computer will have a loop.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah, and tell her she doesn't have to share her documents because we have them.
Do
Okay,
you
great.
want-
Is this better now? Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Thank you.
Okay, I apologize. Sorry, I've typically when we use Zoom for architectural meetings, we don't share screens, and I usually just call in and we just share screens. That's why I'm used to doing it this way.
Do you want
do you
to share your screen instead of me putting the document up?
Then she's gonna echo.
Oh, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. As long as she's muted, she shouldn't echo.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. As long as the computer's muted.
Yeah, I can share. That's fine.
Okay,
All right,
let's
so
So
try
I'm
I'm
that.
going to start with the marquee. That's okay.
All right, so you should have the power to do that now. Go right ahead.
Okay, everyone can see my screen?
Yep.
All set.
Great.
Okay, great. So I'm presenting on behalf, sorry for the little hiccups, technology. As you know, I'm presenting, I don't know how much you know about the building, but this is 305 West End Avenue. It is an assisted living facility. And I'm just gonna go through the photos that we have to get an idea of what it looks like currently. I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay. So this is a photo from 1940. taken from 74th Street. It is located on West End Avenue between 74th and 75th. And this is a view from 74th Street looking up at the corner of the building. As we continue, you can see here, there's a photo taken in 1980 at the time of designation. And this just shows the marquee at the state at the time. It was a hotel at that time. And this is a current photo. So as you can see, it's still the same structure for the most part that's been untouched. And we're just proposing, which I will walk you through, how we plan on restoring it. And this is an image from the front. So you can see, so existing, there's a metal frame that's clad with a metal fascia here with like a bronze frame around it. It's got a fabric awning below, which we've already filed separately and has been approved for the fabric awning portion of this. Existing underneath, just to give you a little understanding of it, there used to be a 2x2 hideous drop ceiling down here with some fluorescent lights. So we are proposing to remove all of that, because as you can see up through here, there are some beautiful architectural details that do exist, and our intent is to highlight these. Some photos to give you an idea. So we're going to carefully remove anything, anything that was hanging from this structure here. We also do have to remove the frame, unfortunately, for the fabric awning, just to replace it in kind because it is rusting out. And this is our proposal to give an idea of the rendering of view from underneath. As I mentioned before, as you can kind of tell in these images here, there is some beautiful coffering, so we're going to look to highlight that. The intent is, as you can see here, is to actually paint these out, be a similar color to the frame that's here on the fascia, even though we are actually proposing to just update the fascia, because as you can tell here, it's not in the best shape necessarily. You can see there's burning on here from the lettering that used to be on here. So we're just going to clean it up by installing new metal fascia panels, a new frame, and underneath matching the same color as the fascia to the underneath panel. We're proposing to paint the existing architectural detail on the perimeter. There are 3 coffers existing. And then we were going to drop a metal aluminum, dark bronze aluminum panel in these 3 sections, which will then have some accent lighting, which will then further draw attention to this detail. And then the remainder of the canopy underneath will be painted out this chalk white semi-gloss, just to brighten it up. Again, it's just to bring attention back to what character, what actual detail we do have. This is just showing you an existing canopy longitudinal section. So as you can tell, as I mentioned before, there are 3 sections here. This is the coffered area here. And as I mentioned before, we're just going to be removing the awning for this, the framing for this skirt, just to reattach it just because it is damaged. This is the transverse section again. Sorry about that. Again, through one of these coffered areas that shows the coffers coming up. On the perimeter, this isn't, there are like existing holes at the perimeter. But they are pretty rusted out and damaged. And this is just showing the removal of that framing again. And these are just some details in terms of what we're proposing to install. As I mentioned before, we are looking to drop 3 dark bronze and aluminum panels in these locations. And it was going to be lighting installed in each of these corners to highlight the existing coffers. Within each of these panels, there will be some general illumination downlighting installed as well, and a recessed heat lamp. Again, it's an assisted living facility, so if someone's out there, waiting for a pickup or a car, is just something that the building wants off for comfort. And this is the plan showing what I just spoke about. So you just take a quick look here. This is the existing coffers that remain. And this is those drop panels with the general illumination and the accent lighting around the perimeter here. And this is typical, except for the recessed heater in each of these locations. And this is just a below detail of that condition. Again, existing coffer, existing marquee. This is that drop panel. This is actually, I believe, and then it's showing you the light that's highlighting that coffer again. This is also a transverse section going the other direction here. It's showing you again general illumination, perimeter lighting to highlight the coffers. And again, just to summarize all that you've seen, the thought process there, this is where that rendering came from, just to give an idea of what it would look like underneath, because from the street face, I mean, from the facade, you wouldn't really necessarily notice this change, but obviously from underneath, we're trying to bring attention to the architectural detail that is present, and then recladding and cleaning up the fascia that exists here. So that is what I have for the marquee today.
Just, where's the signage? And what's on each face of the marquee in terms of signage again?
Just the fabric awning that's already been approved. We're not adding anything to the metal fascia.
Okay.
And could you explain how you're showing the architectural details, how those will be shown?
I mean, we're going to be, like I said, moving everything and pulling this back so that it's just at the center, just as a vehicle for adding lighting to highlight the coffers. So if we go back, we're pulling back everything that's there and just dropping a panel in the center, just so we can install lighting, because we don't want to disturb the existing structure at all.
Right. And the heat lamp is the one in the middle.
Correct. Yeah, because that's where the center of the doors are. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I mentioned that's the main entrance to the building, so that's where
Right.
people would be waiting.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And could you review the materials you're using again
Sure.
for the canopy?
Well, yes, it's aluminum powder coated dark bronze color. The same, I believe, color on the fascia as well as it is on the drop panel. And then we were just going to, let's see, I'll go to the other one.
In the middle of a remote.
Mark, could you mute Jay? Because I don't think he knows.
You want?
Thank you.
So, again, it's braked metal, with a dark bronze finish here at the fascia and underneath. The frame is a bronze, and then the frame is an antique brass, actually. Sorry, antique brass. The coffers are being painted a Benjamin Moore color, highlighted here, the peanut shell. And then the rest of the underneath of the existing area, which doesn't have any detail.
Okay.
Okay. Is painted chalk white. So for them, again, it's mostly just anodized aluminum panel, fascia, we're going to use a frame that has a color of an antique brass. I don't think we're actually going to get an antique brass frame here, and then we're going to be coloring a similar color to the antique brass here for the coffers. So that is the material.
Michelle, go ahead.
I went to see the location today, and because there's scaffolding, I can't tell how this canopy interferes with the window or not.
It does not.
Okay.
I mean, it's with the, we're replacing in kind in terms of the structure that's there. So that does not impede the window currently.
Okay. Mark, you're going to say something?
Yeah, thank you. I had a question or two. I assume that the purpose here is to use the existing framing and infrastructure and to do as little additional work as possible. Otherwise, I'd be asking you why, because in that stretch of West End Avenue, most of the entrances have traditional canopies as opposed to marquee type arrangements like this is. Is that the goal, is to do as little additional work as possible?
It does not make sense. The idea was to restore what we already have in terms of the structure.
Yeah, I guess my question is around the choice of the dark bronze colored, is it aluminum or whatever the metal is, that is above the fabric, which I think currently
Yeah.
has signage on it, but you're proposing it to be blank. That has not weathered well over the years, and it also kind of appears to me to be a creature of its time, which is of the 1970s and 80s, when I believe it dates back to. And I'm wondering why, even if you were to have a marquee-like structure as opposed to a more traditional canopy, why that color and material were chosen, because there's an argument that it might be a little out of date and out of place on that stretch of West End.
I think it's more relating back to the building because the window frames themselves are more of that color. On the window frames that are on the building right now. So keeping in context with the coloring of the building. I know right here it's maybe not rendered well because it does look a lot lighter than it would actually look like, I think. I don't think it would be this light of a brown.
Yeah.
Much darker.
Okay.
I think that's a little bit, and then also obviously we're all seeing it on our own screens, and even on my screen it's appearing differently.
I find this to be a little bit of a missed opportunity. I know that is effectively replacing in kind what's already there, but I do think that it's a little bit of an anachronism in itself. So replacing an anachronism doesn't. But you're lucky because I don't vote with the committee. So
You wanted something more in keeping with the other buildings on the block?
well, around the corner from this building is is it the Pythian Temple, which I believe has, and then we saw an application for a building across the street from it a couple of months ago, or maybe a few more. My grasp of time is eroding, but fairly recently we saw a hotel that changed its name and changed its use, and they also had a bunch of stuff on the roof, and they had a marquee-like entrance as well, which is I believe appropriate with respect to a building that used to be a hotel, even if it isn't functioning as one now. So I don't have a principled objection to that, but I believe that they went to some lengths to update the marquee appearance, or rather not update it, but to bring it back more historically to what it had been when it was first created. Again, I don't want to harp on this, but what's being proposed here seems to replicate an intervention from a previous era, and maybe not the best era at that.
So it would be an alternative.
We've seen interesting things that have metal framing with glass panels. We've seen fan-like treatments that have different kinds of. No one wants me to design their building for them, but we've seen other things in this kind of a context that I compare this to. Is what I guess what I'm getting at.
Peter, oh, I'm sorry, Jay, and you're muted, Jay.
As far as marquee versus canopy on West End, just as a point of reference, 2 doors south of my building, the building has a marquee, and it once was the Hotel Mayflower, and then a nursing home, and now it's a co-op. And also on 79th and West End, on the other side of the street, I think it's 400 West End also has a marquee. So there are, there is some precedent along the avenue, particularly when that's what was there historically.
Yep. Yeah.
Peter, Madge, did you want to say something?
I was just wondering if there was a picture of the hotel before this particular marquee went up, if it has something different or if it's always looked like this.
Yeah, the 1940 picture, right?
1940 tax map.
Yeah, I can go back to that.
Yeah, can you go back to that? Thanks.
And so, yes, it's a little hard to see everything
hard to
down
see
the
it.
street.
I
It's
couldn't see it
impossible to see, to be honest. And you
Looks
can
like
see
a
it has a
marquee.
general shape, but it's quite hard
Looks
to
like
see.
there's some sort of a marquee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
marquee.
Anything in the 1980s photo?
All this.
Nope. I
Yeah.
By
mean,
that time.
Look.
we're kind of going closer back to that. I mean, if you look at the coloring and everything, which I understand, but that's
Mm-hmm.
the only color photo we have as a reference.
Mm.
Obviously,
Anyway, shall we?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, short of redesigning something, I guess I can live with it.
All right. There's a second part of his presentation. You want to continue, Miss?
sure. All right, so you want me to transition to the other one?
Do we
If
vote
I-
on these separately, Michelle?
You want to do that? Sure.
I
Yeah, they are
think
two
it makes
separate
sense.
applications.
They're two very different.
Yeah,
Yes, they are.
that's true.
So this is 305 West End,
A.
A, canopy restoration. Hmm,
Okay.
As is, the resolution is to approve as is, as presented.
Second.
As presented.
All right, so all those in favor, or maybe I'll make a roll call. Kay,
I vote yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Madge,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Alan,
yes,
Peter? I
You're
don't have,
muted, Peter.
Try to unmute now, Peter.
There you go.
Yes,
Very good.
Thanks.
okay. And so that is one, and myself is yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any other, I think that's the whole committee, 0, 0, 0. Non-committee board members, Mark,
I'll abstain.
okay. And Doug Climate,
Yes.
anybody else? I don't see anybody else. Am I right, Mark? There are no other non-committee board members?
Anybody else?
When it's not my screen being shared, I can't help you there, so.
All right.
Michelle, that's correct.
I think that's
Okay,
right.
thanks,
yeah.
Doug.
Thanks,
So
Doug.
that vote is 1, 0, 1, 0. All right. Okay, now, thank you. The second part of your presentation, please.
Yes. Okay, so as you know, are familiar with the building, same location, obviously, the second floor. We're talking about limited visibility from 75th Street. So context again. So on 75th Street, I'm just going to zoom in here for a second so you get an idea. As I said before, the building is fronted. Okay, it's fronting on West End Avenue, 74th, 75th. There is a building here and a building here.
Hang on a second. Excuse me, I think you need to exit the share screen and then call up the new document because you're pointing to things we can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
hello?
Yes, Peter.
Yes. Yes, I'm just.
I have to leave the meeting. I'm sorry. I have something else coming up. I apologize.
Good
Okay,
luck, Peter. Good to
Thank
see you.
Stay well.
Okay.
Thank you. Take
Bye-bye.
it easy. See you in
Bye-bye.
September.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to share.
Thank you.
So if you go to the top of your screen, I think it's the top of your screen, there
Oh,
should be,
stop share, then new share, right? Okay.
there you go.
Sorry about that. Okay,
Ah.
let's start again.
There we are.
Apologies.
Great, thank you.
Sorry. So again, with the building, it's fronted on 305 West End Avenue. As you know, that's where the entrance is. And it's between 74th and 75th here.
Walk up the road and meet you.
On 75th Street, this is the view that we're talking about now, and there's a setback on the second floor, okay? At this setback, there was existing equipment, which I'm going to show you here. This is the existing equipment locations, and I'll walk you through the views. If you look at, we'll start with photo 9, just so you can understand the view that was there. When you're from 75th Street looking up, this is what your view used to be. There was this large, ugly existing dryer vent. There was a cool air unit here. There was a lot of miscellaneous mechanical equipment. So I'll just walk you through the views here. This is a terrace that is access to the second floor. At that time, there was all this equipment up here, as you can see. There was an exhaust duct, vents, a cooling unit, a large cooling unit over here with this ugly ductwork, this very large dryer vent, which I brought your attention to earlier. So this is just giving you the context of what used to be there.
Who has access to this second floor space?
The residents. It's a common space. It's a common the pool area. If they have a pool table billiards area, a lounge, that type of thing.
That's inside and then they can come outside?
Exactly, yes.
So inside is like a lounge area and outside is the
Terrace, yes.
terrace.
We have access.
that,
There's a ramp that comes up here and a small lift. They
Is
can come
that
up.
green color the accurate? Is that the accurate?
That's what was there. It's probably just the waterproofing that was there at the time, I guess, in this location.
That's not there now.
No,
Okay.
Is that the school next door to the west of it, or is that 304 75th Street?
This
Just
is
to
on
get the
the-
bearings.
This is on the
Just trying to
west
get-
side of West End.
Right.
I think this is on 75th Street between West End and Riverside. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
yeah.
So the
Can you-
visibility is from
75th,
across the
Right.
street on
Oh.
75th Street.
Okay,
correct.
Beth.
Yes.
okay. I understand what you're saying now, Todd.
Okay.
This is, again, just giving you a comparison of the existing equipment that was there. We removed the large duct, we removed this equipment here, and this is the proposed equipment. Well, it's already installed, so that's the portion of this that we have to get to. This equipment is installed. It was installed because it is an assisted living facility, and they have a certain, I guess, it was installed in the spring of 2019. It provides air conditioning for the common areas. It replaced existing equipment. There was limited visibility. They were concerned about the safety of the residents, so they got it in. They also, at the time, had a permit for the second floor, mechanical, and the contractor at the time, on his understanding, thought he had a permit to install these units at the time. So that's what has been installed currently.
So we're only being asked to consider a screen installation? The equipment's already
Screen.
there
The equipment's already there.
legally.
Well, no, no, it was not installed with a permit. Again, the contractor, he had a permit for the second floor mechanical equipment, or mechanical permits rather, and he understood that as, because he's not from New York City, they are from Long Island, so from his understanding, he thought he was approved to install these units, and because he was concerned for the safety of the residents because they're older and they have, certain health conditions in the building. There's numerous, occupancy throughout, and this provides air conditioning for the common areas. He installed them.
So it's a legalization application.
It is for the units, yes. And then with that, because of OSHA, there's the second portion of it, which is why I was talking about the screen, is because of OSHA, because this parapet is too low in this existing location, they had to install a railing. So that idea with that requirement by DOB, we have to install a railing as it is. So we decided to use that as an opportunity to shield, to create a screen for these units.
So this part of the application, B, really has two portions. One is the legalization of the installation of the air conditioners, and two is the railing.
Correct.
Screen.
Yes.
Screen. It's a
It's a screen
screen.
and a railing. Yeah, I mean, there's a railing on this side that's not visible. But for the units that are visible, we are suggesting, you know, a mechanical screen / railing combination.
I apologize if I'm jumping ahead, but do you just have a photograph of this?
Yes,
From
I'm gonna
across
get
the
there,
street?
yes. Yeah. So here, I'm just gonna
Okay.
jump ahead then a little bit so you can see it. So this is a photo from across the street here. There's actually 3. Okay, so as you can tell here, there is an existing wrought iron fence here at 75th Street. In all of these locations. Those are the units, I'll zoom in if you want,
Okay.
that are installed back there. These 3. You can see.
And the fence is
So-
staying as is.
Right, we're not touching this. We're not touching anything here. And technically, this is not our property. Our building is back here.
That property in the front there, that's a garden for residents, is that right?
Not for these residents, I
No,
don't know
but
if
for
it's
the
for the adjacent
residents of the
the adjacent
building on-
properties.
Yes.
Yeah,
That,
and since we're here, we might as well speak about the screen, and I can go back and show you some more.
Yeah.
Is there a
Um,
picture of
but
this
it's
up on
not-
the screen somewhere? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm not able to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's there.
Can you not see it at all, Madge, or just not what?
Okay, now I've got it. I had to swipe across a few things to get to it.
Oh, good, okay.
okay, I can zoom in again for you just so you can take a look. So again, this is a view from 75th Street looking up. This is the existing wrought iron fence that is on the adjacent property. Those are the 3 units back there. As you can tell, it's limited visibility. What we're proposing to do is build a brick wall that matches the brick, would match the same brick as on the facade. The coping here would match the same as the windowsill, and the wrought iron rail here and adjacent to it would match this here in the foreground.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to go back for a second just so I can walk you through the rest of this.
Just,
These are the existing
Or
sightline
do-
sections that are required. Just to show what the existing section was like. So again, that's that large duct that used to come down, that fresh air duct. And some of the other equipment that was up here. And this is our now current condition, which is these are the mechanical units that have been installed. Obviously, like I mentioned before, that dryer exhaust has been removed, and this is our proposed screen, which, you know, aligns with the top of the unit.
So
it's a
now
4-foot high brick wall.
the site
sorry?
from West 75th Street will include the brick wall and part of the wrought iron rail,
Correct. Yes.
or the entire wrought iron rail.
I'm having a hard time seeing this. I stared at these plans for a while before the meeting too. I mean, this is, you know, my problem, but I can't. You expect the residents of the building to come outside and walk past these air conditioners?
No. If you look at the plan, let's go back one.
Yeah, you have, I'm sorry, you have to do that for me again.
It's okay. So here, so this is the plan again, proposed plan. As you can tell, the door's in the same location. We didn't change anything. See, this is how you used to come out to the
Oh,
terrace
I
before.
see. Yes,
And there's existing equipment here,
okay,
right? There's a lot of, the majority of the equipment existing was already on this half of the setback.
okay,
So that's why they installed the proposed equipment on that same location.
I get
So
it,
still, the only usable space for them is this small section here.
okay. And you have to
Pretty
change,
much the only outdoor space they have, so.
and do you have to change the railings, the fencing around this space for the residents?
No.
Okay, so
I
that's,
mean, this is an adjacent building. I mean, we're only
Got it.
touching.
okay, now I
area here.
see it. Okay, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry you had to be the one to say that the guys who installed the air conditioners are from Long Island and they didn't know they needed a permit. I'm sorry they put you in
Well,
that position.
I know, it's not the best position. But, again.
No, wait a minute. I grew up on Long Island, so be
Yeah,
careful.
me too.
No,
Me
I'm
too.
not saying anything bad about it.
That's the
You're
problem
beautiful.
with
I love it, Addie.
bridges.
It's gorgeous. Beautiful. He was also the fact that he had a mechanical permit for the second floor, I guess, also clearly confused him because he thought it was okay.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's best that you don't say anything on his or their behalf.
Right. I'm just telling you that, yeah.
Got it.
So again, this is existing deck that was there. I'm just giving you all the different vantage points. This is the same, this is the elevation of what was there versus what's proposed. So existing. On the wrong side. And this is the, we already have a laundry exhaust that LPC already approved. So that's already, that one actually did get approved and was installed correctly. This is, okay, a little, but this is the 4-foot high brick wall, and this is the wrought iron we were speaking about that you saw in the section previously.
Okay. Great.
Jay, you were going to say something? I'm sorry, Mark.
I was just asking, I heard the word screen before, and what I'm seeing right now is a brick wall with a railing on top.
Yeah,
Is the
that's what I
railing the
was-
screen, or is there a screen in addition to the railing?
No, this is it. So we understand. So we met with Landmarks when this first happened. We went and talked to them about the situation, and they said we had actually talked to them about putting in a green screen, some kind of foliage because it is a terrace, but they said they would prefer something that blends it in with the context of what was already there. So that's why we looked at the foreground, and there was already a wrought iron fence in place. And because the rest of the facade in this location, when you look up, is brick, that's why we basically combined the two elements together, because they wanted something that they said that didn't draw too much attention to it and just blended in with the rest of the facade.
Okay.
So we've been treating the word railing and screen as synonyms for this purpose. I had the same little bit of confusion. So it's a brick wall and
The
a
brick
railing.
wall.
Yeah, it's only 4 feet high because we can't actually technically build higher than that by DOB. So that's why the remainder of it is the wrought iron.
Okay.
A 4-foot high brick wall built of the same material that's on the facade of the building.
Correct. The intent is to match that brick.
All right. I think we understand.
Hmm.
And this is just a detail section through it. This obviously existing section, that's the parapet as it is now, which is just brick and a stone coping. And then this is our new brick wall, and that's existing brick on the facade. Is the coping to match this coping, and then the wrought iron along at the top of the unit.
So Michelle and Kay, if I may, generally speaking, our task with respect to legalizations is, would we have approved it if this were presented as if before, neither penalizing them for having not done the correct procedure nor giving them a pass because it already exists?
Right.
So that's my understanding of how this is supposed to work.
Yes, I would have said the same thing. Yep, that's, I would, we could put in parentheses that we still don't like illegal installations, but Mark is correct. So I think we could vote.
Yeah. So,
Given the situation, it's a good solution.
Yeah, I agree.
right.
So,
Any other questions or thoughts?
The only other question I had was, lots of times we see with respect to mechanical equipment, especially in a little canyon like this is in, is whether neighbors want it enclosed further for sound baffling purposes. So I guess, I don't know if there's anybody on the call who wants to speak to that. But why don't you stop sharing screen so we can see who's on the call now?
Sure.
Thanks. And I'll see. So I don't think, no, those two people, the people who are attendees are people who are here to present other things. So there's nobody else from the public here.
okay.
So, we resolve to
approve.
the second part, the two parts to the second part of this application.
Right,
So it's going to be B1, which are the air conditioners, to legalize that. And I agree with you, Jay. We should say we're not happy about them coming to us for legalization now, but
yeah,
we would likely have approved this if they had come to us.
yes,
And two, B2, we approve the installation of a 4-foot brick wall with the railing on top.
yeah. Michelle, you can phrase it any way you want, but I think
Yeah.
it's following up on what Mark said about essentially we're treating it as a new application. I think we should put a sentence in that at least I feel I would not have voted to approve it originally without the addition of this brick wall and railing. It's only
Right.
because of
Right.
that
Yeah,
that I find it acceptable.
I agree.
Good point.
I think the thing that makes it okay is the addition of the brick wall
Right,
and the wrought iron.
right. So we should say that.
Okay, I think you got that, Doug, because you're pretty good at picking up on that. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
All
so
right, so I'll make a roll call of those in favor. Kay,
Yes.
Jay,
yes,
Madge.
Looks like we lost her for a little bit. Remember, she had to get in the car and go somewhere?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Doug McGowan
Yes.
and myself is yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 for now. We'll see what her vote is. 0, 0, 0 for now. And those non-committee board members here, Mr. Diller
Yes.
and Doug Kleiman.
Yes.
Thank you. So that's 2, 0, 0, 0. Did Madge say she's gonna, oh, there she is. Madge, what's your vote on the second two parts of this application?
Madge, are you with us?
Let's leave the record open so we can
Yeah.
fill in her vote if we get it.
Okay. Kay, you want to take the next one?
Yes. Who's here?
55 West 86?
Okay, great. So that's Thomas, right?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. All right, take it away. This is a facade application. I don't think you could make it worse.
My screen.
oh, this is the bank, right?
Oh, wait.
Are you trying to share your screen?
I'm trying to, yeah.
All right, you should be able to now. Give it a try.
Okay. So go to Acrobat.
Hey, Alice G.
There we go.
Yeah?
Oh,
Whoop, it was there a second ago.
All right.
Yeah, we got it.
My name is Thomas from Upper Studio Architecture. This is a facade restoration for a building at 55 West 86th Street, located in the block between Columbus Avenue and Central Park West in the Upper West Side Historic District. Located, here's a block plan for reference. So this is a really interesting building. The first time after my client purchased it or was in the process of purchasing it, and we walked through it, I couldn't really understand exactly what I was looking at. And then the research that followed sort of opened up a lot of interesting history for this building. So this was an 1889 townhouse, Queen Anne style. One of many on 86th Street. Typical 4-story plus a basement level partially below grade with a parlor level and a stoop accessing the parlor level. In the 1920s, this building was modified. So the facade was set back several feet from the property line, from the front property line, you know, as typical townhouses do, to allow for the stoop and the entry and the front garden area. At some point, the adjacent building to the left, which was two separate buildings, became combined into one and became a converted building, converted dwelling. The building to the right is obviously much larger in scale. This is R10 zoning, so there's a lot of floor area on this lot. So basically, this is a converted dwelling where it was a 1 or 2 family townhouse that was converted in the 20s into a multiple dwelling. And in the process of doing that, they took the ground floor, or what is the parlor level floor, and raised it up to create a taller, and they also raised the basement floor level to street level to create a taller ground floor commercial storefront with a second floor above, which was used for offices. So this is an elevation from the 1920s, 1928, for the conversion. So basically you have a storefront with a metal and glass, very thin profile metal and glass, the glass transom, marble bulkhead at the base, brick facade, kind of a deco styling, which doesn't read as much in this elevation as it does in the actual views, with divided light casement windows at the second floor for the office spaces that were created. The upper 3 floors, so we have 1, 2, so 3, 4, and 5 were converted into 2 apartments per floor at that time. So converted dwelling. This is a plan of the 1920s storefront with its deep recess, display windows, and then separate residential entry to the right for the apartments. So in the 80s, they did a conversion, and the ground floor use was changed basically to a dental office, and the second floor office use remained, except they took the back half and converted it into an apartment. And when they did that, they created these 4 individual arched openings at the ground floor, one going down to the cellar, one connecting to a separate stair going to the second floor, one going into the ground floor offices, and finally the 4th one going into the residential apartment stair. So they basically took away the openness of the storefront, its use as a very open, glassy, porous storefront, and at the same time, I think tried to mimic what was going on in the original Queen Anne style upper floor with another archway, but in a sort of pared down 1980s postmodern reified approach, not very appealing large glass plate with a polished granite with some other detailing on it. This construction photo is really interesting because it shows how the masonry was reconstructed at the time to allow for that to happen. And this affects a lot of what we're doing, because in our project, ideally we would go back to this fenestration pattern with the restored storefront, but the viability of that is not really there because of all the structural work that would be required to remove all of this block and reframe this entire facade to do it. So in our proposal, we want to do 2 things. One, we want to restore the storefront. the new use of the ground floor and the cellar will be a combined retail and or restaurant space. Is basically commercial space. That depends on the future tenant. So the new storefront would be steel and glass, steel mullions, tube framing, glass transom, very open to the street, a recessed entry, which you can see more detail in a further slide, and then the residential entry to the right being reconstructed as well. The sign band, which was part of the original storefront or the 1920s storefront, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned that the whole storefront was extended forward to the property line when they did the 1920s renovation, so it aligns with the adjacent buildings. With the original Queen Anne townhouse kind of tucked back there. So then we would like to give a better treatment to the existing facade on the second floor without having to reconstruct the whole thing. And the idea here is that we would use a limestone panel treatment with a deeper return at the arched window, and then bring back some of the steel casement windows that were part of the original, or not original, but the 1920s version, with divided lights to get more depth and texture into the second floor. And part of the intention here is that the limestone cladding will draw from the limestone trim and columns, which has been painted over, but we will expose it, as well as the adjacent building to the left. So here's the facade. This is the existing condition with the 4 individual entries. We'll open it up. We'll keep the limestone cladding. We'll restore, replace the cladding around the perimeter with a flush limestone arch, and then narrow sightline windows with casements at the middle for the second floor office space. It's a pier, recessed entry door from the street, not as deep as the original, but similar in its configuration. And then the residential entry. Detailed view. So again, the storefront would be reconstructed and built up out of steel plate and tube elements, with the residential entry door of a similar character. The second floor office window, the large archway, will have the limestone panels return into an opening with steel. We're proposing a dynamic Illumart window, which is basically very similar to their steel thermally broken windows, but the sight line has the same width as the steel versions. The depth is a little bit bigger, but significantly more economical due to the difference in material, to create the 2 casements in the middle and then the fixed windows at either side. So we're getting a much deeper opening up there. That's the profile of the window we're proposing, and the limestone panels. And that's the presentation.
All right, thank you. Questions from the committee? Okay.
Just a comment, I find it very attractive. And I was just curious. I assume that labeling, showing the signage as book culture is just for the purpose of illustrating what's going to go there and not doesn't reflect a tenant coming in.
Ultimately, the tenant would do a signage application, which would have to be approved by Landmarks separately.
Right.
This is illustrative in its nature. We intend to have signage at this location.
Not a great time to be constructing new retail space, I assume.
I think we can be pretty sure it won't be book culture.
Hopefully by the time it's done, the things will be different.
Hopefully.
Maybe, hopefully.
Our ideal tenant is a restaurant, but that's really wishful thinking.
Yeah.
We missed that diner from the corner.
Everything is wishful thinking these days.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
there you go.
Can I ask what the materials for the sign band are? Is that also limestone, or what is that?
I think that what we're going to build will be limestone. And the sign band will be a separate item. And that can either be pin mounted letters on the limestone, or a similar or a full sign band to be considered separately.
So the answer is it's limestone.
Limestone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Limestone.
Could you explain to me where the deeper, you said something about a deeper return.
Sure. So if we look at what's there,
Ooh, yeah.
basically you've got the granite arch and then a mullion right flush with it.
Uh-huh.
Very flat. So in our proposal, we're going to take the limestone as a panel and return a panel and curve it
I see.
about 1 foot to get depth and shadow.
I see.
So you're going to recess the window back.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So
Yeah, nice.
an indentation, really.
Other
Are the-
questions? Yeah.
Are the casement windows that you're showing on the second floor, are they true divided light, or is that a panel inside a double pan?
These would be, the full glass unit will be this tall, and we'll do a spacer in the airspace with a muntin at front and back, typical of modern divided lights.
I guess what I'm asking is, will the muntins be on the exterior of the glass, or are they going to be in the inside?
Oh, absolutely. I would never just put a muntin in the airspace.
Thank you. Okay.
That's an easy suburban move.
Glad to hear.
Long Island's taking it on the chin tonight.
Yeah, poor Long Island. It deserves it.
Okay. Well, the other thing I probably misunderstood one of your drawings, but it looked like there was a recess at the ground floor for the new entranceways. Yeah.
Right. So basically what we have here is, due to the existing condition, let me go back to that slide that shows this.
Yeah, the more you show us the existing condition, the more we're going to vote for anything else.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember when that alteration was done, and I just was flabbergasted in 1988. It was like, why?
I like to know where he got that shirt.
Even for 88, that's pretty bad.
We know when he got it, though.
Yeah. So sorry, you were saying, Mr. Barry?
So we'll keep this pier, but because it's a good separation between the two parts of the building, and clad it in a steel channel to match the rest of the storefront, and then the residential entry will be set back with a little recess and rain shadowing there.
And then the commercial also has a little recess, it looks like.
Right. So the door can swing out,
because it looks flat on the other illustrations. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I just wanted to understand it.
Yeah, but that's the idea, is that it will have this kind of typical recess.
Much more appropriate to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah.
And I should mention that as part of this project, we're doing a substantial rehabilitation of the building. And sorry, I think I have a full view here. We'll be repointing and replacing all the windows with new wood windows for the whole facade.
Wow.
Wood windows? Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
All
right.
Part of the DHCR program for substantial rehabilitation. It's not in bad shape. Someone painted over the limestone, which we're going to strip and repoint the brick and replace the windows.
So that color on the top is going to match?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, looks good.
Okay, are we ready to vote or we have more
Yep.
questions? We okay?
Yes.
Ready to vote.
Okay, let's see if we can do this.
As presented, the resolution is the application as to approve the application as presented.
Second,
Michelle, you want to poll everybody?
Sure, whatever you say. Kay,
I vote yes.
Jay,
I vote yes, but I want to observe, Michelle, that J comes before K.
yes. Was that true in Men in Black? Who was it?
Chair's
Matt?
privilege, Jay.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Madge?
Yes.
Okay. Doug McGowan.
Yes, and I'd like to note that Doug D comes before Jay. Okay.
No argument.
And I'm a yes also, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 committee members. Oh, Madge, did we get your vote on the second
did.
part of? Okay.
I'm sorry, I was totally disconnected from the internet at that point.
Okay, so that's fine.
I didn't record it. Is it a yes for?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
For the second vote?
And a
Second
yes
vote.
for this one as well.
The
Okay.
second
This
part
one
of
is a yes. The last one I'm not voting on.
Okay, so abstain for the
Sure.
second part?
Yes,
That's the second part of the first vote.
right.
And are you not voting because you didn't hear the whole presentation?
I didn't hear the right,
Then
exactly.
don't record it, then don't abstain, just don't record a vote because she wasn't present.
Yeah, that's-
Right.
Because an abstain is a no, it is a
Right.
soft no, but it's a no.
So for this application, the 55 West 86, we have 5000 by committee members. And Mr. Diller, how would you like to vote?
I vote yes, and I note that there was a mention in the chat from someone named Alice, I think her name is, who
Yes.
is a community member and says that she supports this.
Great.
So I thank Alice for weighing in, and I am encouraged by that, but I would vote yes as well.
Thank you. And the other Doug, is he still here?
I am.
And your vote, Mr. Kleinman?
Is an aye, affirmative.
All right. So for non-committee board members, the vote is 2000. Thank you very much. When are you calendared at LPC?
We're not, but we will probably after this.
Okay. And when do
November.
you start your construction?
When do we start the construction?
After approval.
Well, I have a DOB plan examiner who is 6 weeks between meetings, so 2022.
That's optimistic.
So we're working on
I'll have
that.
a vaccine
Okay,
by
good.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
We can open
disappear
that
on
up.
its own, Mark, you know that.
Oh, hey,
Thank you.
I just see that Paul Fisher
Paul.
apparently joined us.
Okay.
Paul, I can't see you because we're on share screen mode, so I'm sorry I didn't see you. But he says he votes yes, so that makes
Yes.
it 3000 for
For non-
non-committee.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Before you
safe.
go, make sure you agree. Okay, great. Excellent.
Okay, now we have 320 Riverside Drive. Are they here?
Who's here from 320 Riverside? That's 104.
Yes, we are here.
Excellent.
I'm Michelle Moody, and Stephen Spandel is here as well, I think, or he was.
Oh, yeah.
I see him. Yep.
Great.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Do you want to share your screen or should I put up your panels?
Happy to do it either way, whatever's easy.
Why don't you put up yours and we'll go from there?
Perfect.
Because then you can move through the slides as you will.
That sounds great. Okay. See if I can drag this out of the way. Okay, so 320 Riverside Drive, we're looking at penthouse A on this building. The building is at the corner of 104th and Riverside Drive. Lot 1 in this view. Moving on, just a few more details of where it's located. Penthouse A is in the corner of the building. There are 3 penthouses, A, B, and C. So we're at the corner of 104th and Riverside. Here we have our 1940s tax photo. You cannot see the penthouse at all in the tax photos. In view 2, 3, and 4, you can see the penthouses at the upper portion of the building, just peeking over the cornice. So this is penthouse A, where I'm circling. In this view, it's here. And then view 4, it is here.
Are there only the 2 houses in the building?
There are 3. There are 3 penthouses in the building. 2 facing west and 1 facing south.
Okay.
So these are a few views of the existing conditions from the terrace. You can see it's actually a stucco product currently, not true stucco, and some metal-clad double-hung windows in very poor condition.
Were these penthouses built when the building was built?
No.
No.
Yes,
Yeah?
they were, but apparently had almost no detailing, or I think it's safe to say no detailing to them, which is surprising considering how beautiful the building is below.
Yeah. Wow.
Were they staff quarters?
Exactly. It almost makes you think that. So,
Yeah.
this next slide, we've already received approval from the LPC to cut new openings into the penthouse and reconfigure the fenestration. We're looking at installing Hope's steel window units. Painted a dark brown color to match the LPC approved color for the building windows. The taped off areas, the orange tape signifies the new openings.
That have all been approved.
Correct. They've all been approved already. So the only thing we're looking at right now is adding a small bay window onto the terrace, which is indicated by this netting here. We've ghosted in with orange outline where the new windows will be on this elevation as well.
And why?
Apologies for all of the other clutter on the terrace. They're doing facade maintenance right now, so it's a little bit confusing.
And why didn't they approve the bay window at the start?
They are supportive of the bay window, but said that it was something that needed to go before the community board. So they suggested that the LPC actually suggested we go ahead and approve the windows, the overall fenestration package at the staff level, and then we go back again just for the bay window itself. But they're actually rather supportive of this. They don't feel that it's a detriment to the building, but I'm not going to continue speaking for them. Moving on, these are some views of the building. The view at 100 feet. We've come back in with some bright orange here to show how much of the new windows will be visible from 100 feet. As you get further into Riverside Park, you of course can see more at 250 feet. You would see roughly what's shown here in orange.
Where's the bay window? Because
So the
that's,
bay window is
The south?
actually here on the south facade. So this little sliver here is the bay window.
okay.
I
In
don't,
view one, it's this area
Hmm.
is the bay window.
with all
Okay.
these windows being visible, I don't understand why they didn't just approve the bay window also.
Well, agreed, but this process is fine too.
Okay.
Okay, here we have the view at 500 feet. We've kind of marked in orange. The trees pretty much obscure this view completely. So we've shown in orange yet again. The bay window is where the cursor is, this tiny spot over to the far right. And then we added in view number 2, which is from 250 feet away, that looking from the east. And this is one of the other penthouses, so you cannot see penthouse A at all from this view.
Is the window glass on all sides?
Yes, and there are some details showing what that looks like as we get further along. So this is the floor plan, the existing floor plan as approved by the LPC. We are looking at this opening off of the master bedroom, and the proposed plan is to just bump that out onto the terrace 2 foot 2 inches.
Does the bump out obstruct drainage?
No, not at all.
So it's just a linear, like half rectangle window.
Correct.
Curious to put the bay window in a bedroom, but maybe
Oh, sounds
I'd
good.
like to wake up with some light.
That's right. So the elevation at the top, number 1, is the approved elevation. So we're essentially taking this door unit that's already approved. We are sliding it forward 2 foot 2 inches, and we're adding side lights to return that back to the wall of the building, and putting a very shallow pitch Freedom Gray, which is essentially the color of lead-coated copper roof on it. Existing and proposed. It's just going back, added in some images showing what is there currently. Penthouse A ends here. And then what we are doing that's already approved. Moving on, this is the view from the west. So here you see the approved west facade, and here you see the proposed bay window, the side view of it. So it's just one light deep.
It looks like the gate is also, the railing is also being increased in size. Is that?
The railing was also approved by the LPC, and that is changing for code reasons, basically. The current railing as it exists, it functions as a ladder. And the client has small children, so we opted for something a bit safer. But that was already approved by the LPC as well.
Okay.
Mystery.
Yeah, there's no egress from the bay window. It's a window. It's
It's
not
a
like
window.
something.
There is a door unit. I'm gonna slide back up to the elevations of that. So essentially, this is the bedroom door unit as already approved. So there's a French door in the center,
I see.
and that exists in the bay window as well.
Got it. So maybe it makes a difference because there's an egress, Jay?
Well, are you saying that the bay window is an egress point?
It is not an egress point. It is not necessary to have
No,
egress from there.
Yeah, that's
Other
my
than a window.
understanding. So you have the,
Okay,
you have the French doors facing west and the new bay window to face south.
correct.
And it's a window.
Okay.
Michelle.
We're ready to vote?
Yep, I'm ready.
I'm
I think we
ready.
should start with Doug. What do you think, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm okay with this as presented.
Yeah. I'll second it if that's a proposed resolution.
Yes.
Is there any community comment before we vote? Can you unshare your screen now, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
You
All
want
right.
me to take the vote? Okay.
Yeah.
J,
There you go. Yes.
K,
Sure, yes.
Meg,
Yeah, yes.
Doug M,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0. And M Diller.
I'm a yes with a request that they put the same windows on the adjoining penthouse. Thank you. Yeah, because that what you're proposing
We
is
would
much
love
more-
to.
No, I missed something.
No.
I just think they should do the same thing to the other penthouse. This is much more handsome.
I see.
Beautiful,
Right. The neighbors should update.
beautiful.
You're right. Doug Kleiman
Yes.
and Paul Fisher. I think he's writing us. Let's see.
Maybe in the chat, Paul?
And Alice G said she's in favor, and we don't know about Paulie. But he's not muted.
No, but he often has trouble.
All right, we'll leave that open. So the resolution in
Carried.
favor passes. Thank you. Are you scheduled at LPC yet? Are you calendared?
Michelle, are we scheduled at this point?
Yes, we are.
And when,
Okay.
Their
what date
meeting
is that?
in September. I think it's the 11th.
September 11th? Okay.
Michelle, if you don't have any further business, I have to go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say two things about, oh no, we have somebody else here, but you can go. I have 2 items of new business. I'll just really quickly say them if I may, because they were not for discussion. They're for like putting a bee in your bonnet. One is that maybe we could talk about at some point taking on the Department of Buildings and the scaffolding permits. Maybe the community board can give some feedback when a building wants to put up scaffolding. That's a little bee in your bonnet. And then maybe Kay and I will work on the district needs statement, which I sent to you all on the 4th of August. I just wanted to add something about future issues on maybe COVID redesign, how that's going to impact things, and ADA accessibility, because we see more of those kind of permits. So maybe Kay and I will work on that little paragraph. But that's all I wanted to, unless anybody else has a really quick new business.
Doug, didn't you have something that you wanted to bring in?
Well, yes, and I think well, they're not really an applicant right now. It's really more for discussion. You'll see on the screen Anastasio Giannopoulos. And I think many of you will be very pleasantly surprised. And this is a complete coincidence, although sometimes universe, they say there's no such thing as coincidence, but this is actually the neighboring building to the 55 West 86th Street. Someone, I think Kay said, I missed that diner. Well, guess what? You have the diner's owner and the owner here. And is Anastasio promoted to panelist?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
but I just want, excuse me, I'm sorry, Doug, but Madge, if you have to leave, you can, but we're gonna talk to Mr. Anastasio.
Yeah, there'll be no vote on this, right? We're just hearing
That's
this
right.
as, yeah.
I'm just going to say, full disclosure, I represent this property, and I'm very, very proud and very happy that Anastasio, who I affectionately refer to as Tommy, is here. This is a legacy ownership. They've owned the building for many years. They're without getting into too much dirty laundry, there was an estate issue. They're getting ready to make this building beautiful and leasable. And I think to everybody's, I believe aesthetically it'll be very pleasing and it'll be good for everyone. Again, I will not be voting on this because I would be ineligible, but this is,
Well,
that's it.
We're not gonna vote on anything today anyway.
Right, and in the future, I wouldn't either. So.
Okay, no problem.
So,
Okay.
so I put up this, I've received 2 screens at like 6:15 from from Tom, if you will. So that's what I've put up here, and I'm putting up the one that appears to have the elevation as opposed to the floor plan, because I'm not sure we can help a lot with a floor plan. But does somebody want to tell us what we're looking at and why we're looking at it? And here, I'll try to zoom in a little bit.
So we're essentially previewing something that we will see at a later date.
Well, it's entirely possible that this could be, Jay, you remember that there was that storefront.
Storefront, yeah, could be staff level.
Could be staff level. But so Mr. Giannopoulos, why don't you, is there a question you want to pose to our committee? We don't generally give advisory opinions, but we want to be as helpful as we can to our small business owners. So why don't you ask a question or two and let's focus in on what it is that you want to ask for about this. Assuming that you can hear me and I can hear you. Where am I? Oh, you appear to be unmuted. So Doug, can you help us out here?
Yeah, I'm actually, let me just see here. I am texting with him. He's been standing by here. I'm messaging him now to see if there's any issue.
I mean, just from my perspective, it looks like this is the kind of storefront infill that the rules might allow for with a staff level approval.
Oh, but it's nice that we see that then.
It depends. Go ahead.
Saying that he is speaking, but nothing, and we're not hearing him. So
nope.
He's not muted.
Nope.
And, Tommy, can you unmute yourself, or I don't, your microphone active?
Or Manhattan, whatever the kind you like.
The red guy.
You want it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
If Tommy, if you can hear me, can you write something in the chat so that everyone can see what's going on?
And Doug, we have Paul Fisher's yes, FYI. On that
For 350 Riverside Drive?
Yeah, on the last application.
3:04.
Tommy is calling me right now. Let me-
320 Riverside.
320. 320, yeah.
Okay.
Michelle and Kay, I have to call somebody at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Okay, tell you what, Doug, rather than take the whole committee's time with this, I'll hang on this for a few minutes with you, and anybody else who wants to, of course, is welcome to, but I don't presume your time. And let's see if we can, answer a question or two. So why don't you see if you can, if he
just called me. He said he's signing off and signing back on. He does present on Zooms. This is some anomaly. He's going to sign off and sign right back on. Hopefully that'll clear the problem.
Yeah, but Jay, if you have to go, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got to go, but certainly as being generally supportive of these kinds of efforts, I'm sure we all are, and
Certainly, yeah.
I am.
What's the
All right.
address of this?
Stay well, everybody.
You too. See you in a few
541
months.
541 Columbus Avenue.
Thank you.
Less than a month.
Okay. He's back.
Great. He has to be unmuted.
I'm trying to unmute him, but I think he has to unmute himself.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you with us? Go ahead.
Not hearing him.
Is it Indianapolis?
Maybe try for next month.
Well, can he hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to offer a couple of things just in case it's useful. One is that there are regulations on the Landmarks Preservation Commission, and your architect should know about them, that allow for staff level approvals without a public hearing for.
I'm going to interrupt you. Mr. Giannopoulos is an architect. He is the landlord. He was a former owner of the diner, so he's very familiar with the process. He is an architect.
Okay. So then you know, if there's a question you can put in chat that you want our thoughts on, then since we can't seem to hear you by video, audio, maybe that's a way, or I don't know, call Doug and he can relay the question. The only other thought I have.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Can he bring back the same wait staff then? Some good people there.
Yeah, that was his family. So Tommy is calling you right now. Let me see what he's saying. So he's still having problems with his microphone. He's not sure. He'll try again next month, and you know he appreciates the opportunity. To be able to,
We appreciate that he came to us also.
Yes, you'll be very welcome.
Yeah, we're really happy about that. Thank you.
All right. And anything else, you guys, or should we call it a day?
I think we're done. Time for margaritas or whatever.
Yes,
Oh, I
thank
wish.
you very much, everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
in less than a month. Thanks
Yep.
for all your good and hard work.
Thank
back
you.
at you.
Meeting
Amen.
adjourned.